comeback.
Let me get back in. I'm just logging back in under my.
Sure.
Okay, yep, got the logo swirling. It shows you, by the way, also with that logo swirling. I don't know if you did that on purpose
Does
or.
it really?
Yeah.
What logo? The skull?
So you got the skull logo to the left, bigger, and then it shows you as well.
That's cool. Let me see. Let me log into YouTube from my.
And now I think I just figured out why I'm not appearing. So I need to load in.
All right,
Like
jump
I'm
out.
almost loaded in. I'm at 88% yet. I'm at
Okay.
88%. Now I'm at 89. So that's what it is. So there's a load in time for the guest.
Got it. Are you in?
No, not yet.
Do you
But
want
then
to show?
again, you're still your hand's still on your face. So
Well, maybe jump out and jump back in like you did last time because I did shut it off and restart it.
okay. Let me just wait till you ask that question on the live itself. Okay, good. We're good.
You're there?
We're good. Yep, I'm there. Yep.
I'm looking it up on my phone. I logged in through a different account and I want to see. Oh, look, it says I'm live. Holy shit.
Yep.
Oh, wow. There it goes. Yeah, I see it. I have a little logo of the skull in the corner.
Yep, I see that.
Whoops. Wait, I got to shut the volume off on this or else. All right. There we go. Okay. All right. I don't want to get distracted with that. Guys, hope you're all back. We got 13 of you back, so that's cool.
So they're giving me some feedback. You're delayed and I'm not.
Interesting.
That's interesting, right?
Yeah.
Yo, thank you everybody for the feedback. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Maybe it'll catch up in a second. I don't know. Maybe because we're using it through my recording. It's I don't know. We'll figure that out later at some other point. But yeah, I might be delayed. But
cool.
That
so we
sums
were
up
talking
anyway.
about Edward.
We were talking about
Edward. The consistency, and that's what struck you.
Yes. The fact that there was a personality to the spirits in a location was what I found. Okay. That's bananas. That's really what was weird. Yeah. The other, so from there, I realized like I don't know what I'm doing at all. And that's what led me to want to talk to, for episode 4, to get another history and another perspective of someone who's been investigating for, decades. Like, okay, what are the right questions to ask? What do we have to do? And if our whole goal is to try to figure out what spirits are, we can't just be going on TikTok and like doing the same thing. We've got to try a lot of things and try a lot of different things to get there. So that's what we did. We're trying a lot. That's what we are doing. We are trying a lot of things to get there. So what I'm curious now with these first 4 episodes is from you guys. What are your questions? I want to hear some questions. I want to know, like, ask us anything. Tell us, like, what do you think? What do you like? What don't you like? What do you like in the podcast? What are experiences do you have that maybe we can answer or touch on, or that contradict or support things you've heard or seen on John's Live or from the podcast so far?
So what do you want to start with? You want to start with their experiences or the podcast?
Anything that'll speak to their questions. I'd love for them to ask. I'm putting you all on the spot. All 21 of you are on the spot.
That's it. Open mic.
Open mic. What do you got? What do you got for me? Ask a question. If you don't have a question about ghosts, then ask another question. Ask away. Let's get warmed up. What do you want to know?
Godzilla. Why did you say Godzilla?
I don't know. Maybe it's like I sound like Godzilla. Is it like a? Is there a
More like
weird?
Godzuki.
Is there like a delay or something? I don't know what Godzilla means.
Yeah, we got.
Oh yeah, is it bad? Is the audio bad? No. Is that what it's doing? Come on, folks, you're leaving us hanging. Let's go. Imagine this is the TV show. We'd have dead air. The people
Dead
behind the
air.
scenes they'd be freaking out right now in a production. Like, what's going
Yep.
on?
Oh, here we go. Do you believe spirits visit us in dreams? You want to
Ooh.
start? And then
No,
I'll go?
I want you to answer that. I have no idea.
So I don't believe they visit us in dreams. I believe actually that their energy of the spirit that resonates with us is more communicative with us while we're sleeping. So I don't believe now hold on. It's not 100%, black and white. Could there be spirits that visit us in our dreams?
Uh-oh, you stop recording, John.
Other reason why I didn't want to use my am I back?
You're back. You're back.
Okay. So let me say this first. I believe that the majority of spirits that we experience in our dreams are from the energy that's in us already. So our loved ones that have passed, because I believe that we do get some of their memories. We've seen this in science. We've seen this with organ transplants. You hear about DNA memory, the works. This you can all look this stuff up. It's not like I'm pulling this stuff out of a hat. Like this is all, stuff that's in science. There's been studies on this. Could there be a percentage of spirits that visit? Sure. But the amount of spirits that do come to us in our dreams are because their energy is already with us. So that's what I believe from at least the data that I've taken in.
All right. Wait, I got a question that I can answer very quickly. Tammy, when is Splintered Spirit merch coming out? If you go to splinteredspirits.com, we've got a ton of merch. Have at it. Thank you for that question. Oh, this is a good one. This one I want to know the answer to. Marjorie's asking, John, why does Edward hate John?
So Edward hates me so much because I am in his home. You got to understand something. The fireplace room before I went in there was unused. Nobody used it. It was like the abandoned side, decrepit, falling apart, dirty. It was just left alone for decades. Decades. This spot was, undisturbed. And then all of a sudden I came in there and I started doing an eBay store out of there. And then I cleaned up the other side, which is the side you guys know so much, the fireplace side. The first side I cleaned up in that place was the storage side. So that just pissed him off. And that's why. That's what started it. Once Edward realized, holy shit, like, this is live. There's people that are talking to him. There's people that are hearing me. He just took it from there and went friggin' ape shit.
John, someone here is asking this question. I don't know what this means. So
QDE?
Yeah, you see this?
Yes, I do.
What is QDE? What is that?
So first off, QDE is a term that I coined. All right, and it's a theory of mine, and it's based off Thomas Edison's theory of life particles and life units. The theory is called quantum device entanglement, and that's basically when spirit particles from one area are reacting with spirit particles in another area, and they're doing it through the device. So basically, the fact that somebody's watching me, or in this case, us, right now, and they're watching through their device, the spirit particles here through quantum entanglement are reacting to one another.
With that said, is it hail like dimension? I have no idea if I experienced that. I don't know how to answer that, I guess. How would I know
So
if I've experienced it?
the common experiences, the very common, are headaches, feelings of uneasiness, nausea, things like that. But those can also be explained through other means as well, obviously. Then the more extreme are nosebleeds, getting, hurt, passing out, things of that nature. The entities that you have in your home, because everywhere is haunted, start acting up as well, almost like they're being affected by the stream you're watching,
But
or you,
is there
you know.
something going on with those symptoms that I would know, like, this is not just a headache because I'm dehydrated. This is a headache caused by this. What would be the
Yeah,
other thing?
because every time you log on and watch, you would experience it.
I see.
But I always say, listen, QDE, you back out, you come back in, it severs the connection. But always make sure you're hydrated. You're eating properly. You got enough sleep. All these things that can cause the symptoms that you're experiencing before you go, oh, it's QDE. If you had a stressful day and all of a sudden you're watching my loud ass, even if you enjoy watching me, I'm still a stress factor for you. I'm still a stimulus for you. It could be just my very voice and my loudness affecting you. So I always say, hey, listen, there could be other factors that cause this. But if you know for a fact that it's every time you watch me at a certain location, then it's QDE. And you got to back out and come back in. Don't back out and leave forever, because then you're never going to build a tolerance to it. And that's the other thing. People have built tolerances to it, which is wild.
That is wild.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I will look to answer your question. It's a long way to go. I'll have to pay more attention to those symptoms, Hale, and see if that's what I'm experiencing or not. It's hard for me to tell. If you see me looking to the sides because I'm reading your things, I'm trying to go down the whole
Me
list. So you
too.
guys, I love it. I love that you're asking me things. Lori, you asked if the doctor I want to know the doctor on the last episode is wrong.
Wrong about what?
Yeah, wrong about what? I mean, it's like, here's the thing. He's been doing this for 40 years. He's got thousands of investigations. And when he saw what John can do and what I showed him what it can do, he gave me a list of things that he would do to find out an answer. He didn't have an answer one way or the other of what John is doing. He's basing his answers on his experiences. What John is doing is relatively new. When you're looking at a 50-year history of this guy's thing and John's 4 or 5-year history of doing it with, apps didn't even exist, for that long
Nope.
of a time. That's a new thing. So he's not wrong. He gave us definitions that, look, you can call things what you want. We're trying to stick with definitions to help us stay consistent. And I think he's got good definitions of things in terms of like what an apparition is and what a haunting is and what a poltergeist and a poltergeist agent are. That just helps us be consistent when we discuss what we're talking about. There's no right or wrong to that. That's just the way
And
that we're
and
talking.
also, I'd like to point something out too that's super important. If you're being diagnosed with something, right? Let's say you're not feeling well and you're sick, and you go to get diagnosed by doctors. If you go to somebody who's an oncologist that specializes in cancer, they're going to see cancer. If you go to an immunologist, they're going to see autoimmune. And it takes more data for them to go, oh, wait, this might be something else. Like, so that's also very important. It's the same thing with me on my live. When I'm dealing with spirits, I'm, listening to memories. So that's also very important, going to this doctor who's been doing this for decades. He has his data. He has, what he is basing his scientific method on. And these are the perspectives that we want on the podcast.
His name's Lloyd Auerbach, and you should check him out. Read it.
Yeah.
Get other perspectives. I mean, he
Yeah.
knows what he's doing. By the way, all right, you ready for this question? This is from, I recognize this name because she's a champion, but it's like she's clearly smart. Are you ready for this? Look at this.
Yeah.
If spirits' memories are a transfer of their energy, first law of thermodynamics, do they lose memory because their energy becomes disordered? The second law of
Yes.
thermodynamics. What?
Yes.
Check out the big
Yes.
brain on Bree.
100%. 100%.
So you're
In
saying
fact,
they lose some
forget
memory.
forget about dying. Forget about dying. Let's talk about the living. Dude, let's say you can, like, if I remember the first place I took my wife out to dinner, okay, before we were married, all right, I'm going to start confusing what she was wearing the first time with the second time. All right. My shirt color is going to change. Hell, even 20, 30 years, the restaurant might change or that memory might disappear completely. It happens when we're living, not just the dead. So I can only imagine when you die, what happens to the memory, especially as they scatter. Like they must be, but that explains a lot though. What Bree said explains so much why spirits forget who they are, why they're so disoriented all the time. And it's what makes the ones that come through strong super special. So yes, I would have to say yes, the memories do get affected.
Bree's so young, she's probably trying to write like a college paper on ghosts and
Yeah,
shit. And
right.
it's like she's talking to us knuckleheads about it. Wizard in the making. All right, here's another. This
Oh,
was
okay. So hold on. Let's go back to Lloyd for a minute. I know what people meant by is Lloyd wrong, and they're talking about no spirits being at the cemetery. Everyone needs to remember this, and this is super important. And I know a lot of my first years do. Before me stepping into a cemetery to gather data, the common conception with the paranormal was that there were no spirits at cemeteries. Anybody who dubbed themselves a professional, anybody who did it as a hobby, think about it. If they thought that spirits were at cemeteries, you would have seen all the original ghost hunting shows being done at cemeteries like crazy. But they weren't. They were done in people's homes. They were done in places of business. It wasn't believed that spirits were in cemeteries until I started showing them that there were spirits in cemeteries.
but also this. Let me point this out. Logically, when I tell the man, John thinks spirits are memories, and then we're at a cemetery, guys. 2 + 2 doesn't equal 5. You don't remember your cemetery. You're
Yeah.
never gonna remember it. You're never gonna know it. So
Unless
you know what I'm saying? Like there's just no way. So that makes sense in the sense of
unless
in that regard. But go ahead.
uh,
This is what we're trying to
unless
prove here.
spirits can gain new memory. If
But
spirits can gain new memory,
and then
then
there's
they can remember. And
the
we
other
know they
thing
can.
is also is it the other idea of being spawned off of a loved one or
All a possibility.
that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
but so while Mr. Auerbach was saying, Lloyd Auerbach was saying like, well, there's no spirits at cemeteries. After we tell him we think it's memories, you could see why there's a disconnect logically. And that stems from, well, where's that energy then coming from to create what we're hearing when John is out there?
And so let me
right?
just
I don't know, dude.
press on what Gary said so everybody fully understands because I know you guys. All right. What Gary was saying, what if it is an old memory versus new memory, where spirits can gain a new memory? What if it was the actual leftover memories of the ones that visited them and buried them in the ground originally? Which is a possibility. That's the crazy thing. This could literally be quantum memories connecting. So, for example, if me and Gary go out to a bar one night and we have the craziest night ever, all right, and we have a third person
Odds
with
are we
us.
would.
Let's say his name is Manny. We have Manuel with us, all right, and it's me, Gary, and Manuel, and we're having
Handsome.
a
He's got to be
banger of a
super
time.
handsome. Super handsome Manny. Go ahead.
Yep, super handsome Manny. No one's more handsome than Manny is.
Right.
You know what I'm
They
saying?
call him the Grim Reaper because he kills all of our game right away.
That's it.
The guy walks in the door. Any game we've got, it's gone.
He's got so much game, we don't even have to speak. He just points. So listen. So Manny, we die, I die, Gary dies, and then Manny dies. Later on, there's a chance that the reason why we're at those headstones, or we're in that cemetery in general, is because Manny came and visited. And a little bit of our energy was there, and then it quantumly connects, almost like snaps back. Now, think of it like this, everybody. Mr. Churchwell, he's the most recent spirit that left for a super long time and then came back. Where did he go? Why was he gone? We don't know. So anything is possible. Remember, it's the theory that spirits are memory. Do I have any of those answers? No, I don't.
Now
So
this
it could
this
be anything. It literally could be systemic of other people's memories that are causing that to happen, let alone the actual memory of the spirit going to its final resting location. There may need to be a catalyst, is what I'm saying.
now
So,
if you listen to episode 4, and we talk about this a little more in the upcoming episode 5, and it's going to lead to it's going to answer a question that I'm about to jump on. We talk about for a split second, is John some sort of a tech medium or some sort of a spectral AI, right?
dude,
Which is like my sort of like, well, what's going on? And
dude,
I'm gonna drop a dopey video, but this goes to Gracie asked, and this is a good question, right? If spirits are memories, how do they communicate intelligently, right? Um, so that's a wonderful question. So it's the this is where the idea, or what I was thinking about in terms of what does spectral AI mean. And I'm dropping one of my dopey videos about giving you a truncated definition of how to explain it. But AI, if nobody knows how AI works, I'll give you the quick version of it, right? It's a large language model. So it pulls information from all sources, whether it's Twitter or Google or YouTube or art or the library. And when you ask it a question, it processes that information and creates a new prediction of something, of a new answer, right? Well, what if John is able to take these imprints, these memories that of a certain time and place of these people, this energy, and through the help of the tech, because that's where the voice is coming through, he can reprocess it somehow and create a conversation. I don't know if that's true, but why isn't it true? Because something's happening. And if it's a locked memory that can have a conversation now, and how do they communicate intelligently? Maybe it's because he can take that memory and reprocess it. And that speaks to one of the things that Lloyd was talking about in terms of what a haunting is versus what an apparition is. Whereas a haunting is an imprint. It's just a loop. It's just the energy is frozen there, and it's a recording, if you will, not an entity or a being. It's a recording. And maybe John can take that and reprocess it as well, versus what a spirit is, except for this. And that might still be the case. But what you're going to see in episodes, well, you're going to get a taste of in episode 6 coming up. You're going to see, I sit down with a medium first. But then when John sits down with that medium, and this is one of Lloyd's tests to bring in a medium, what's there? Kathy also feels the spirits in what they are. Do you want to jump in on any of this action? You want to get in on some of this?
sure. I would love to. You
Go
guys know I have my theories on, the basics. Like, let's talk about, the recording, if you will. Like, listen, one big trope with the paranormal, and unfortunately, even the scientists that dive into this get caught up in, is the term energy. Like, energy, like energy has an explanation. Like, you need, like, for example, you hold a lighter to something, right? And that item, if you hold a flame next to something, now on top of it, what happens? Convection. That energy heats up the item next to it. Like, you can explain the energy. So there's been no actual explained reasons why recordings would happen. Right? That's where the disconnect is with that logic, with all these things. So I have my own theories on that. Obviously, you guys know that. I feel that we can interact with these recordings, that they're more than just recordings. They are loops that can be broken, which is one of the reasons why a lot of the time spirits are like, yo, this is like a dream when I'm talking to you, because they're stuck in that loop. And then all of a sudden you're interrupting it. However, the tech medium thing, that was a joke of ours like last year. Like I literally would like joked around that I was a tech medium because everybody knows my disdain that I have for mediums. I have a disdain for them, big time. However, there are people that have a gift. And the unfortunate ones that claim they have a gift make the ones that do seem less believable. But the medium that we have coming on to Splintered Spirits is awesome.
Johnny,
Awesome.
I want to jump in here with something to show everyone, because they're
Cool.
gonna get a taste. They're gonna get a taste of Kathy in episode 6. And Kathy gives me a reading, guys. And
Now this is not in the episode, right?
I
This is private.
I don't remember if this part made the cut, but it's good because then it'll be new and everything stays new and they won't see anything
Okay.
close. But Kathy gives me a reading, and she talks about my older brother, John's uncle, who passed away. I don't want to bring the party down, but let me jump in on this this clip real quick with you guys, and then I'm going to explain what she's talking about and why it freaked me, kind of freaks me the hell out. So let me just see. Here we go. Let's jump in.
Your brother, I don't know. He gives me he takes a pack of cigarettes and throws it across the room. So what is
Smoker.
that?
I don't know, but he's a smoker.
Okay, all right. Did someone try to get him to stop?
I'm sure everybody tried to get him to stop.
Okay. I don't know what that is because he's giving me a very like an angry throw, like that kind of a.
Okay. So my brother died in a car accident. He wasn't wearing his seatbelt. My brother was, he was sober. We know that. How did he not see what was coming? It was a head-on collision. What happened? And my sister and I had always said we thought he might have been reaching for his cigarettes. I still get chills when I think about. I don't know if that'll show up on camera. I get chills when I think about it. It was bananas when she said it. That was so specific.
Very
of
specific.
A story. And it's like, look, that it's it puts a whole new light on the idea of what's coming through. And you'll see there's a couple other things. I dropped something in the promo for 6 that you see that she says also about my brother. He came through a lot to her, which, and guys, I got to tell you, I don't know how for the life of me she figured this stuff out, because between the time that I reached out to her to sit down with her and by the time we had this was very short. I don't have a big social media presence personally. You can't see any photos. There's nothing online that would even remotely connect me to my brother's former social media. I just don't know how you would connect those dots, especially some of the things that she said. It was like, so it's like, look, it's weird. It was weird, but yeah.
We had a couple of those instances with her. I don't know if the whole nativity part came into it.
I think I might have. I don't know if I got into that because we had nowhere to go with it, so it didn't have a resolution. So I didn't know if I didn't really. Put it in, but that's just.
It was just odd. She said something that resonated with the both of us, and we were like, "Wait a minute!" Almost like we have a vague memory of something from our childhoods that, had to do with a nativity, which was odd because it made us both go, "Wait a minute." It made us both think. And then I've said this a million times so far on my live stream. I never posted the tunnel. Like I posted the pathway to the hidden cemetery, which is part of that tunnel. But in that episode where me and Kathy sit down, she keeps going on about the tunnel. But she's not saying the tunnel. She's saying like the route, the train tracks, and me taking the train and graffiti, and that's what she's seeing. And around that time, you know, it was shortly after we saw the entity there. So one of my best captures was there, Gary.
Okay.
One of
Sure.
my best captures ever was there.
Well,
So it was.
let me. Does that? Would you say here? Here's something. Somebody wants to know. Oh wait, that's not it. That's something else. That was something we already answered that one. Here, this one. What do you feel is your best evidence you've caught so far?
Hands down, it has to be the woman at the pathway to the hidden cemetery.
What you're just
Hands
talking is that pathway the tunnel? No, these are two different things.
No. That's the tunnel. So
Okay.
you have to go through the tunnel. You have to go under and through the tunnel to get to the pathway to the hidden cemetery.
Got
So
it.
hands down, because I spoke to that entity. Of all the things I've seen and I've dealt with, I've never like spoken like face. I was face to face with this thing. Like other things I've chased. Like this was, we exchanged words. I thought she was a drug addict. She looked sunken in, pale. I thought she was an addict of
She
some
asked for
sort.
your number. She asked for cash.
No, she didn't. She didn't. Kind of wish she did. No, I'm just playing. No, but seriously,
It gets
like,
lonely in the cemeteries, guys. It gets lonely.
yeah, it gets real lonely. So, it was just odd. And then all of a sudden, now I'd like to point out, while this whole thing is unfolding on my live stream, I'm arguing with my chat. Like literally saying, guys, that's a real person. I spoke to her. Coming up with every reason that that's a real person and not a spirit until she fucking disappeared. You know, was reappearing and reappearing when she was walking. Insane. Insane. So hands down, that's my best capture because I actually spoke to her in person. I've never had that sort of experience before like that. So you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Nah.
Here's a question from Deborah. So if memory is still there, why do you think that a message can't be related to the living relative during an interaction? I guess maybe she's asking, like if ask this person something for me. I don't know. Is that what you want to know, Deborah? You still with
Well,
us?
let me see. So if a memory is still there, why do you think that message cannot be relayed to the living relative during an interaction? There could be many factors for that. You know, remember, we're talking about, memories of the dead coming to the living. We have no way to measure that. So we have no idea exactly how much of that person is coming. That's the issue. So there only might be a small, residual part, and it might not be enough to relay an actual message.
All right.
That just, could be one of the many reasons.
I'm seeing. I think, dude, we've actually answered so far everyone's question. I don't see anybody asking any more questions. That's it, guys. We've answered it. If you're all set, you guys all know everything there is to know about spirits and ghosts. We've done it. Our work here is done. Podcast is over. We've solved it. People know about the afterlife. They're all set.
That's it. Done.
It's crazy, dude. Anyway, look, that was great. So what are you going to see next? So you're going to see John and I sort of recap a lot and talk about this sort of idea of what, beyond that it's just spirits, that John himself is some sort of a conduit, right? So that's where also we're going, and that's also something we're testing.
So Jessica asked a question. We missed a question.
Oh.
All right.
Jessica. Sorry, Jessica. Don't get
Do
hot
you
about it.
believe
We're on it.
dreams you have in color and sound and out-of-body experience and not just our brain? Well, first off, and this isn't me jumping on any bandwagons, a female's brain and a male's brain are different. They're different because they're more biologically advanced than we are. You got more orifice than we do. You got more going on up here. It's just science. Okay. I've heard, I don't know how true this is, but the last time that I read about it, they were saying that more females dream in color than men do. So right there we have, discrepancies. We have the, so we really have to think about that. If there's already a difference with the biology of it, now it's really hard to figure out the spirit part of it. So that's it. It's a very hard question. That's, who knows? Maybe.
Jessica, your question is too smart for us. Try to ask a dumber question next time, please. Don't
way
ask us.
way too smart.
Way too smart for us. We can't handle certain things. Like, I mean, Bree already exhausted us with her thermodynamics. It's
so Meow Queen Auntie just brought up something interesting too. What about people with mental illness that claim they're hearing voices? So interesting about that. A lot of mediums that are actually sit down. This is where like the professors come in and whatnot. And like a lot of colleges have tested this. It's been joked around in movies like Ghostbusters, but it's a real thing. Colleges throw money at this stuff. Okay. They actually take people that are schizophrenic and they take people that are proven mediums and they see what kind of auditory responses are happening with their brain. So you can tell the difference between someone who's schizophrenic and someone who's an actual medium. Now, granted, this is all going on I haven't looked up this stuff in forever, so who knows?
Yes, this is a reminder for everyone. We're not doctors. We're not psychiatrists. We like to pretend we are on airplanes if someone's having an emergency. But other than that,
I was almost a psychologist.
That's yeah. So, but no, we're not.
I should have stuck with it.
Here's something from Michelle. Look, I think someone threatened her, but check this question out.
Someone threatened her?
How can someone that lives in a house with you say they are going to haunt you and they actually do? I feel like somebody threatened Michelle with when I'm dead, I'm coming back at you. And now her house is haunted. Number one, Michelle, move. First and foremost.
Michelle, how long did they live there with you? Was it, if they were there for years, what do I always say? That when your energy scatters, it's going to go to the places you're most familiar with and the people they're most familiar with. So,
Michelle, do you have an answer for us? How long have you been haunted by someone?
Yeah.
And who was it? We'll come back to Michelle if she responds.
Do you think Churchwell or other spirits who hadn't got to see you for a while will eventually remember you again? So, Jen, that goes into my theory of old memory versus new memory, which I actually have data on. And I've always known it's not black and white. There's, different spirits can remember different things and stimulus and this, that, and the other. But don't forget, there was a cemetery that I disappeared for months from. And those spirits had no interaction with me. And the majority of them forgot who I was. Okay, one of them remembered who I was. That was Virginia, which makes sense because I left a gift at her grave, and I had a lot of interactions with her and her husband. You guys, remember that from, years ago. But one spirit who I also left gifts at his grave completely forgot who I was. And when I reintroduced myself to him, we actually get along great. When originally we did not. He was known as the grumpy one. That's why we left the Oscar the Grouch on his grave as a gift. Like, all right, you're always grumpy every time I see you. Okay, funny enough, that spirit is actually the nephew of the man who built this tower. So little side tidbit there.
Michelle responded. She said it was her mom.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's why, Michelle. It was your mom. Obviously, if she lived with you, you had a somewhat close relationship with her. So forget about her living with you. That's your mom. That's your mom. I mean, it makes sense. Mama's haunting you.
Mom's haunting you. Speaking of haunting, Johnny, do we want to talk about this ghost story that somebody submitted to us online?
Yes.
Guys, also,
yes.
As a reminder, if you have a ghost story or evidence, go to splinteredspirits.com and tell us about it. Upload your photos. You can let us know and we'll cover it. And I'm going to cover one. We're going to talk about one right now. And I'm not going to read this whole letter, but this comes from one of our esteemed sort of fans. Where did I put that photo, John? It's like I've already lost it because I closed out so many windows like a fool. Um,
Yes, Donna.
yes, talk to Donna while I look up.
And you're welcome, Jen.
All right. All right, this comes from Jen Brown. All right, I'm going to read this a little, Johnny. Listen to this. It says she's always been fascinated by life and death. And when she was little, she said to her nanny, that's their grandmother, not some kind of nanny rich people have. LOL.
Okay.
That's all from her. So her grandmother says, when you die, will you come to visit me to let me know there's more after? So this also speaks to our question we just got. So she would always say, Jenny, if there's any way I could do that, I promise I will. As I got older, my bravery waned a bit, and I said, Nanny, I changed my mind, and I don't want you to popping up at the end of my bed scaring the crap out of me. Can you give me a sign or do something else that will let me know? Again, she told me if there's any way she's allowed, she promised she would. Anyway, she lost her grandmother on October 6, 2009. Her family gets together for Thanksgiving, and apparently, like, people are all about the house, and they left the house, and it says here, so this is where it gets a little complicated for what she's writing. She's like, let's see. She says, I went in, let's see. My sister left, side note, I was living with my sister at the time. Her divorce helped me raise my nieces. My sister left a bit early, and then me and brought the youngest with her, and my older niece and I finished watching a movie, and it ended. My sister-in-law went to the bathroom and came out and said, I thought I heard something weird during the movie. I think your sister left the water on when she used the bathroom before she left. I was thinking, that's odd. I got home, and another side note, we had been gone all day. Nobody had gone into the living room yet. My niece had gone up to her bedroom, and my sister was in the kitchen. I went in and jokingly said, hey, you're losing it. You didn't turn off the water in the bathroom at Matt's. She looked at me strangely and said, yes, I did. I know I did because I went in someone else and the sink would shut it off, blah, 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 blah. All right. Look, she went downstairs to this room that she's claiming nobody was in. And then she saw this, and I'm going to share this with you. Share this with everyone, guys. You're all in for a treat. Get ready. Window, photo, share. Did anything pop up anywhere? No.
No.
Of course not.
Screen. There we go.
There it is. Okay. That looks like a footprint. Would you agree or not?
Yes.
Okay. And she's saying, she goes on in her letter that they measure the size of this footprint.
I was about to ask that.
And it does not match anyone. He said it was about a 5, size 5. No one in the house is a size 5, and that was about the size of her grandmother.
Wait, so her grandmother was a size 5?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's like she's saying, and it's the only one like it that was there. There was no other water, no other marks, nothing. Just that.
Just that. Interesting. Now, she thinks that that's her grandmother, correct?
She's wondering if it's some sort of a physical apparition. Yeah, you know.
So that goes into what, I wanted to say to Michelle before we moved on to the next thing. If I had more to say to Michelle. Michelle, and this applies to this footprint. Michelle, how do you know that that was your mother that was haunting you in your house or apartment? And how does the person who submitted that picture know that that was her grandmother? Because it was a size 5? Was she the only person with the size 5 footprint ever to exist in the world? And how many people, and what's the history with Michelle's house? You see where I'm going with this?
Right.
Do I believe that with Michelle was being haunted? Yes. Even though I don't have all the details, I'm going to take it on faith that you were experiencing things that you couldn't explain. And the same thing with that footprint. I'm going to take it on faith that that wasn't fake, that this is a real, genuine experience. But from all the information, all the data that I'm getting, I can't say that that was her grandmother. Just is not enough information.
Yeah.
Something there, yes. Especially if the water got turned on by itself, things like that. Even though water getting turned on by itself can have a scientific, actually a technical reason. It's because the faucet starts going bad, which happens with certain types of faucets, especially the cheaper ones. But still, regardless, if it was a spirit that turned on the water, if it went into the water for whatever reason and then came and left that footprint, there's no way to tell that that was actually her grandmother. The same way there's no way to tell that the spirit that was haunting Michelle was actually her mother. That's something that she's going on because of her connection with her mother. I'm gonna haunt you when I die, and then all of a sudden she's getting haunted. Of course, you're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, crap, that's mom." It might not have been mom. Same thing with this footprint. That might not have been your grandma. That could have been somebody else.
Right.
So I just
And
wanted to add that in, how they both go
it's
together.
true. And you see what John just did there, folks, by the way, is exactly what Lloyd is doing when I show him John's stuff. This is how it works, guys. This is how you study and learn. You say, not sure, I need more information. This is how it
Yep.
all works out. This is what we're all trying to do here as we try to figure out what spirits are. Dare I say that maybe we try to figure out what happens when we die?
Now let me add this too. I
don't know.
guarantee if Lloyd watched a couple of a week of my lives and saw it firsthand and saw it live and saw it happening, or maybe even went with me and watched it go down, he would have more data.
Of course,
his-
he would.
his-
That's what he wants. Yeah, he would love it. Like they all want to see it in person,
Yeah.
right? Because as you know, everyone is skeptical of what's is especially with devices.
Mhm. I don't
Everyone
blame
is
him.
very skeptical of devices, and it's like,
Yeah.
is it this? Is it that? Is it pre-programmed? Is it a thing? Blah blah blah. That's just the way. That's just how everyone's going to be.
Skeptical of the devices myself. That's
Yeah.
why I don't say the spirit's name when I approach a headstone. I personally think that a lot of these companies, no matter whether you go with GhostTube or Necrophonic or Spirit Talker or Transcendary or any of them, I'm convinced that the code that's written in there does allow some talkback. So if I go up to a grave and I go, "Oh, that's Mary. Hi, Mary. How are you today? Can you talk to me?" That there's a chance that the spirit box is going to say the name Mary, which is why when I go up to a headstone, I'm like, "Spirit, may we have a conversation?" I call the spirit a spirit, which a lot of people don't like. They find it disrespectful, even though I'm not coming from a place of disrespect. I'm coming from a place of logic. I'm saying, okay, I willingly know I'm using this device, and I know this device is infallible. I know this device is fallible because it's made by humans that want to make money. So even if they figured out the technology, hey, this works, but how can we make it better? Oh, let's add word prompts. He says a name. There's a 1 in 5 chance that the next thing that's going to come out is going to spit out the name. Very well aware of that. Very well aware of that. So skepticism is good
You got it.
and important.
You got it. Well, look, John, I think we should start wrapping this thing up for
Yeah.
our first live. I think it went great. I'm hoping. Look, we're hoping to do more of these. We're hoping you guys watch the podcast. We're hoping you tell other people to watch the podcast or listen to the podcast. Follow us on social. We want your questions. So hopefully we'll start doing this in between drops to answer questions, see where we're going. We got a lot of fun stuff coming. I mean, we got Kathy for 3 episodes, really gives me a reading, gives John's a reading. We take her to the fireplace room. These are all super fun. Episode 8 is really like, there's a lot. It's fun, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
We
It
introduced
is.
Kathy to Edward and it works out just fine. You get a lot of fun stuff in that one. And we're moving forward. We got a lot. We're planning a lot, certainly in success of this project, if it works. And we hope you're along the ride with us.
Yeah.
Through all the kinks as we work out the tech. And as we try and as we grow and get bigger, this will be simulcast more than just on YouTube. But we'll be able to simulcast it to TikTok and Facebook and Twitter and whatever you are, whatever makes you feel more comfortable. Right now, that's only big enough to be from here to YouTube. But soon enough, guys, soon enough with your help. So that's it, man. Anything
Yo,
else?
everybody. Yo, thank you so much for watching. You know, as Gary said, we're gonna do this more frequently. You know, we'll keep you in tune. We'll let you know when it's popping off. And you know, thank you so much for watching the live version of Splintered Spirits. It means a lot that you guys are here.
Yeah, man, it really does. Much appreciated, everybody. Saying goodbye. Oh wow, look now everyone's chiming in, jumping in with buys and oh yay, thank you, bitch. Definitely all that. Oh good. Love it, dude. I love it. Look at this. So good. All right, brother. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Later.
Are you still there?
I'm still here.
Okay, we're off.